Hi, everyone. I hope that you all had a great Monday. I am so super excited to be on this Zoom with you all. I called this pushing through the lull because if you have seen Daphne's and I's text messages over the last several weeks, you would understand why. I thank you so much. I I mean, I'll be real with you guys. I've been struggling. I mentioned in my live on the Audacious Babes page that, I haven't gotten a new customer in several weeks now. I think it's going on like 3, 4 weeks. And it's kind of defeating. We all have those feelings of defeat. We all have those feelings of like, why isn't my business booming? We see other people booming and we kind of get stuck in that rut. So I just kind of want to talk about that today because that's what I've been struggling with. And I know that most of you are going to be able to relate in some form or fashion. So, I've been talking with Daphne about just kind of like, I don't know what to post. I don't have content. I don't know. I'm overwhelmed. And so I just kind of had to take a step back and I kind of had to be like, okay, my business does not define me. And so let me be the first to say, if you don't know that, your business does not define you. You are beautiful, you are knowledgeable, you are smart, you are powerful, you have endured, right? Which is why we all have that story, because we all have endured something that has brought us to our knees. And we don't want another woman to see that, right? So I did that little live video. Go back to your why. Get in touch with your why. I had a friend ask me, like, you want to help people, but why? Well, because I've been through a lot. Yeah, but why? Like, how'd you get there? How did you go through a lot? What did you do? What were your tools and your tricks, right? And that's what we want to empower other people, other women to do. We always tell them, flip the script, flip your mentality. Like, that's what we're here to do. We have done that for ourselves without the backing of our community that we have. We have a great community of women here where, we're struggling and we ask for prayers in that team chat, and women don't have that. Like, we have that here. And so, they're on the opposite side thinking like, wow, how did she go through all of that? And we're here to provide her with the tips and the tricks and the tools in order to make that mindset shift, or in order to endure through that dark time. And I think that that's why it's so important to be real and vulnerable and honest on social medias, because people are looking at us like, well, how did she get there? How am I here in this situation? And how do I get there? Right. So, like, we can dial it back for them. Like, we have these options, we have these opportunities. And, we do have this women, and we do have this group of women, and we also have Thrive, but Thrive is not the end all be all. Thrive is not going to solve every struggle that you ever encounter. Thrive is not always going to be able to help your anxiety. Thrive is not always going to be able to, pull you out of bed in the morning. And so I'm really bad about sharing those parts, and I need to get more in touch with that part of showing that struggle. And so, I'm preaching all of this to you, but I always say, like, I've already told myself this, which is why I can tell it to you guys. So just get back in touch with your why, and just kind of share, how you've been able to endure. And because yes, you're selling a product, but you're also sharing, your beautiful soul and how you came to be this beautiful soul that you are, right? Like, think back about it, 2 years ago. I was just thinking about this today. Like, 2 years ago, I never would have went this blonde. And it scared the freaking crap out of me to sit in that chair today and go this blonde. But I was like, you know what? It's gonna grow back. It's gonna fade. And I'll get my natural hair color back eventually if I absolutely hate it. So, like, you can always resort back to the beginning. And that kind of just brings me to my next point, where, like, there's oftentimes on a day-to-day basis, I get so overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my God, I got to do this, and I got to do this, and I got to do this. And so I kind of started taking a step back. I started to take a step back and just take a deep breath, and maybe just write out a little notepad, like, okay, I've got to do my IPAs, but what are really my IPAs are? Okay, let me, in this 15 minutes that I have right now, let me go see if I can do my 5 contacts. or let me see if I can go find my 2 people to follow. And I try to break it down in little sections. Or even like I've started kind of implementing this power hour when I get overwhelmed. Like, let's see how much I can do in just an hour. I set my timer for an hour. And a lot of the time, that means I have to turn off my TV because I can't get the thoughts silenced enough in my head to figure out, what's going on or what I'm thinking or how I can connect with my following. And I think I actually talked to Lexi about this the first few weeks, like the first 6 weeks I started my business, I didn't turn on the TV. I didn't watch the TV because I just had to figure out, my game plan for the next day. And I think that that's really helped me kind of push through that lull, is like, okay, if I can take 10 minutes at night and kind of figure out like what I'm going to do tomorrow. Like I texted Daphne last night at like 11 o'clock about like product posts that I was going to figure out, that I could recirculate this week. And so I just kind of have to go back, start from the beginning. If you get overwhelmed, like just and just celebrate one win. If that means that you only got your 3 steps on your stories that day, that's still showing up, you guys. Like, don't beat yourself up because you're like, oh, I didn't do this and I didn't do this. Like, that's only gonna just stir in you, and it's gonna make you more upset at yourself when you can turn that and just be like, okay, I was disappointed that I only got, this up tomorrow. How can I better prep for this week or for tomorrow or for next week? And I even thought about it, like, I'm going to create a schedule. So like, this week I'm going to do a sale. I'm going to do a $25 off sale. Next week, I'm going to offer mini experiences. The week after that, maybe I'll do a sale again. So, and I think that helps. Like, if you feel like, I personally feel this all the time where I feel like something's not catching, and I'm like, okay, if something's not catching, if I've used it for like 2 weeks now and now I haven't gotten a customer, and like, okay, now I'm going to figure out something else. Like I'm going to create a different graphic, or I'm going to create a different poll or something like that, just to kind of keep the momentum going and seeing what catches. Because they tell us all the time, like, you got to see things 3 or 4 times. And so now I've been doing a lot more face-to-face stuff on my stories to talk about things, because I'm like, okay, well, if they can see it, if they can see the excitement in me, if they can see my personality with this, then maybe that will catch. And I also took Jess's advice from this last weekend and just kind of really re-implemented, showing 1, 2, 3 steps. I think sometimes we get in the mindset of like, well, we know what our 3 steps are, but some people who are like just popping in, like new followers, like they don't know. They're like, what's this girl doing? She has like a patch on. God, she's like an addict of some sort. So like, I had to kind of dial it back. And just like I said, go back to the basics when I'm kind of getting overwhelmed or I don't know, how to pivot. Like, okay, just rebuild from the foundation. And then I just try to carve out a couple hours on like Sunday or like Saturday morning to kind of create content that I can kind of circulate through. And like, I go out and I learn from a lot of our leaders, like from Shay and Jess. I'll screenshot their stories, or like some other girls from our tribes will screenshot their stories. And then if I like it, I just put it in like an album in my photos, and I use it as like inspiration almost. I'll take it and I'll make it my own, so that, it's in my own words, it's in my own story, but I kind of have already this template or this format that I'm following. So it kind of takes like the guessing out and that overwhelming sense of like, what do I do? I can't, and I fall into this, like I get so overwhelmed that I just don't do anything. And so I brought it back and I tried to break it down for myself that way. And it's just so crazy because we do have so many resources around us. And if we can break through that feeling of like, it's so much to do versus like, okay, let me just take it like one chunk at a time. Like, let me just take this 1 week at a time. What can I do on Tuesday? Okay, I'm going to post a business post on Tuesday. If that's all you can get out that week, then you can, then you have all week to re-strategize for how you can, what you want to do next week, or how you can post more, or whatever the case may be. But start with a small foundation that you feel like you can eat. That way you're not like, I don't know, like dragging it around all over. Let's see here. Oh, I'll tell you this because it's like, I feel like I'm trying to step into my confidence on my stories. And so I've really adapted this like 24-hour mentality, especially because I get caught in that it has to be perfect. And then I don't do it. And then I just shot myself in the foot because I thought it needed to be perfect. And then I didn't do it. And then that's a vicious cycle. And so I started having this 24-hour mentality. I'm like, well, it's just going to be up for 24 hours. Like, screw it. Like, if it's not the right words, or if it's not the right graphic, or if I don't like that graphic in 2 weeks, like at least it was up for 24 hours. And how many people actually saw it? Like, well, some of you have a lot of followers, but like, honestly, how many people are paying attention? They're going to go on about their merry day and be like, oh, whatever, she spelled the word wrong. Like, so don't be afraid to just like post it, because the chances are the more that you just post it, someone's going to catch on and just like, and then they're going to know you're real because you were consistent, and they're going to see the growth, and you're going to see the growth. And I personally love that, looking back on old graphics and like, wow, that was really shit. And wow, look at how much I learned. Right. So, and then the other thing that's really helped me is that I have been comparing my business to weight loss. And that's so funny to say, but it's a journey, right? A business is a journey. And I first came into this and I said, I'm not going to see any progress for 6 months. I'm not going to see anything for 6 months. And some people might be like, wow, that's kind of like, put a negative spin on things. But in my mentality, it's a realistic thing. It's like, okay, I need to work for 6 months before I'm going to see any profit from this. It's not an overnight thing. Just like how we say with the diet culture, like Thrive is not an overnight fix, and your business can't be either. I get so caught up in like, oh, I don't have enough people like seeing my stuff. But I'm like, some of my best customers are repeat customers. So even when you don't have like a new customer to focus on your repeat customers, because chances are they'll keep coming back and they'll keep coming back. And I've seen that time and time again. And so I've really put love into them while still kind of just learning to love this process, in regards to like, even if you fall off one day, even if you fall off eating one day, I'm not going to self-sabotage, for the next week or the next month. Because then I'm going to look back at the end of the month and be like, wow, I just gained back 10 pounds. So I'm not going to do that in my business either. Like maybe yesterday I didn't post at all. I didn't even post on my feed at all. But now I know tomorrow I have to do something. I have to figure it out. I've got to make it work in some sort of fashion, even if it's just a picture of my watch or a picture of my run, or something that incorporates my life, that shares with my followers, like, hey, I'm still here and I'm still including you. And I was just thinking about this earlier because Ashley was sending me videos of her weightlifting, and I got caught in it again where I was like, damn, she's lifting so heavy. And I was like, wow, I can't wait till I lift that heavy. And then I had to like bring it back and be like, oh, but wait, you also broke your knee 2 years ago. So like, slow down, sister. And so don't let the circumstances of someone else's journey, I literally have to tell myself this, you guys, every day. Don't let the circumstances of someone else's journey throw you off track from yours. Because I could look at 1,000 other people and be like, oh, they're losing weight faster than I am, or this or that, or they're ranking faster than I am. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but wait, but look at how much I'm doing on the back end. I'm showing up in my stories every day. I'm starting to get more confident. And they say that that progress is happiness. Progress is happiness, not perfection, Perfection does not equal happy. Progress is happiness. So when you feel like you're not being perfect, that's not what you flip the script, sis. Progress is happiness, not perfection. And none of us are perfect. We're never going to be perfect. Even the person that you think is the most perfect out there, they're not perfect. So I just have to celebrate small wins. I have to know that I'm showing up every day in some sort of fashion. I'm showing up. And if I'm not, then I kind of come back and reassess, like, oh shit, okay, that was my bad. Like, I'm not putting effort there when I could be. Like last week, I didn't have any content. Did I get ready one time? Nope. Why did I do that? I don't know. I shot myself in the foot. So like, if you think that you can show up better, then try to figure out how to work that in your schedule. I'm trying to figure that out right now, like waking up earlier. Okay, I need to do my makeup every day. How can I figure out how to do that? You know, just that way I'm always prepared in the event that, especially content's the hardest for me. So I need to make sure that I'm up and ready and prepared so that I can snap a picture, even if it's in my car, you know, just something that I'm not completely out of, and at the end of the day be like, well, I can't because I don't have anything. I want to avoid that. And so I'm always going to re-strategize to figure out how I can avoid that. And I think what I'll just kind of like leave off with is, every time, since I'm comparing this to my like weight loss journey, every time I've beat myself up on my weight loss journey, every time I've gone back and been like, oh, you're not good enough, or, oh, you're not losing weight fast enough, or, oh, you're not ranking fast enough. Like, those negative thoughts, I have found, like, the longer I sit and fight with myself, the longer I don't let myself progress in my journey. And so, like I said, like, if I fall off the track in weight loss, I'm not going to let myself self-sabotage for a week or a month. I'm going to get right back on. It's like the same thing with your biz. Like, the longer you sit and stir in that, like, oh, I didn't, or, oh, I couldn't, or, oh, I haven't shown up enough, the longer it's going to take for you to get right back on that horse. So like, the faster that you can figure out how to just kind of push through that and just get right back on, the faster you're going to be able to flip that script for yourself and be able to flip it for your other people too. And that's like, it goes with everything in life, but I've just really found that even for my own emotions, the longer I sit in the anger that I'm feeling, the more it just affects me. And so I told myself that I wasn't going to do that in my business. I wasn't going to cheat myself by being angry at myself for no reason when I could just take action instead. So I have really been struggling with my business, but I'm at a place where I feel like I have been able to re-strategize. I'm at a place where I feel, you know, kind of pumped up again to talk about the products, and at a place where, you know, I have tools in my toolbox to kind of be like, okay, what am I feeling and how do I push past this? And, you know, we always say it's all God's journey. It's all God's journey. I would never be here today if it wasn't for God, because I never would have accepted something like network marketing. And so just, you know, trust the process and take a deep breath when you feel like you're getting overwhelmed, and, you know that you always have a tribe of women here that can help you try to reassess and re-strategize and, you know, figure out something new and fun that you can get right back on track with. So that's all I have for you guys today. Yeah. Do I just leave, or?
I will end the meeting. That was so good, Bray.
Does Jess or Shay want to say anything? They always pop in sometimes. Thank you so much.